Reality is, I was living in fear. And what I would say to the person who the Lord has given you something is, what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
Just ask yourself the question,
yeah.
what do you have to lose? You have more to gain by being obedient than what you have to lose by not being obedient, right? The reason I'm doing it now is because I got a wake up call and said, hey, I just crossed into 40. Bro, like, what am I afraid of?
Come
You know,
on,
it's like I
come
just,
on.
you know what I mean? I just hit 40. I'm like, man, I had 15 years when I could have been just doing what the Lord said do. But at this point, it's like that I got to get it off my phone, because if I passed away and all it was a voice note on my phone, then I would have wasted what the Lord had given me in that season.
Welcome to The Climb, where I help Christian men live fully, lead boldly, and leave a legacy that matters. I'm your host, Teko Bailey, husband, father, life coach, and your guide in the climb. Whether you're navigating fatherhood, building a business, or simply longing to live more purpose, this is a space to rise. Well, Theo, welcome to The Climb. It's a pleasure having you here, man.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Tika, for having me, man. Thank you.
Welcome. You're a contemporary gospel musician and a worship leader. What is it like for you being in that industry today? I see a lot of worship leaders coming out with amazing songs and albums. Tell me, what does it feel like being in that space, and tell me a little bit about that.
I appreciate you having me again, man. Thanks for having me on the climb. It's really been humbling, for me, to be honest with you, because for the majority of my experience, I've been singing all of their songs, right? So, finally, this is my season where I'm coming up with my own material, singing my own music. So that's kind of very humbling. I'm definitely, I guess, nervous, because at the end of the day, you never know if people will like what you have, right? But
Yeah.
at this time, I'm just also just focused on, hey, the Lord said do it, so I'm just going all the way out. So I'm very grateful for it. But I've been doing it for quite some time, maybe about 18 years now in general, of writing and leading worship. But I never released until maybe this year.
So good. So
Yeah.
good. Take me a little bit back to your earlier years of music. Where did it all begin, and what was that time like for you?
Yeah, so, I grew up in a pastoral home. My dad was a preacher, he was a pastor. Music was it was everything in our house. We'd sing for morning worship, evening worship. We're singing all the time. We're singing on the weekend when he has to preach. We're just singing, singing, singing. But when I came here about 21 years ago to college, to the US, DC, I got put in some music groups. And over the years prior to that, I was always singing. But when I came here, they kind of really pushed me out into the front and said, hey, you can lead the song and you can sing the song and sing the solo. And that's kind of what pushed me into, more of the worship leading, and then singing more solos and being independent other
Come
than
on.
singing background vocals. So that's kind of how I got my push. Started off in a group here called In Touch, and then got with some Metro Praise and other groups like Metro Lifted Worship. And then ultimately now, actually my own worship leader and artist, but I also lead at different churches here as well.
Nice. That's quite an experience to have. What would you say might be some of the challenging moments during that period where you transitioned from maybe just singing more in groups to kind of going into your own thing?
It was trying to learn how to manage the musicians and the singers and the AV people at the same time. It was,
Wow.
really, as a worship leader, we really have to be able to give signals and directions and
Yeah.
understand the material so well that you can guide
Yeah.
everybody, including the congregation, in that moment of corporate worship, right?
Yeah.
So I had to really study and learn from, because some of the greats that I and paid attention to, and really learned how to do it by going to conferences and studying and praying and asking God for guidance.
Come on.
So that's really what it was for me.
It is a lot of weight to be a worship leader, I
Mhm.
think. How is it personally carrying kind of just that responsibility of, in a sense, taking others into God's presence or leading them in some respects in that direction? What's that feeling like of weightiness? How does that impact you as a worship leader?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. For me, I've learned honestly to just walk in daily surrender. So it's like I'm preparing the best that I can as and then I just literally turn it over to him. In the beginning, I used to get extremely nervous because, I think the attention was more on, did I do it right? This
Yeah,
is where I'm at today. My attention is less on, did I do it right? But if I put more on, was I being obedient? Because if I was being obedient, then I did what he wanted me to do rather than what I do. So at this point, my focus is on, hey, have I been in his presence? And then when I get before the people, it's an outflow of what he's put inside of me. And so, today I could say, yeah, I do have times when I am nervous simply because maybe everything didn't get prepared right around the situation, but not
yeah.
nervous because I don't believe that he's with me. And so for me, that's the what the difference is. It's a heavy weight, but I truly am trying to carry the mantle as I this is leading from my own personal devotion and from my time spent with the Lord. I'm essentially outpouring when I get before his people.
That's right. I like that you talk about just your personal time with the Lord, because I think so many of what we are able to do comes out of that, or what we can
Hmm.
give to people, whatever sphere that we're leading or serving in. Like if
Hmm.
we're not spending time with God, then what we're
Hmm.
giving or producing won't really be good stuff. But I'm going to segue a little bit into anxiety, because I think our world is experiencing a lot of that right now. Not so much as a musician, but your
Hmm.
song, The Sabbath, I like it
Hmm.
because,
Hmm.
the Sabbath talks about a day of rest and giving back
Hmm.
that day and that time to God. What inspired that song, and, what does it mean for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up in that faith of the Adventism, and so naturally, rest on, work six, rest one was
Yeah,
natural to me. But one day I was actually home, dishes, right? And it just came to me. It was like thanking God. It was a Friday afternoon in preparation for the Sabbath. Began just thanking God for the Sabbath because now I knew I was getting close to the hours where I no longer had to work the rest of that week, and I was about
yeah,
to let it go. So I'm working in preparation. Those lyrics have started flowing out to me, man. Thank God
come
for the
on,
Sabbath. Thank God for the Sabbath. And then
come on.
essentially, that's how it came. And it wasn't reading the text. It was really just thinking about how good it felt to now know that I'm going into a 24-hour period where my focus is completely off of the cares of the world, and it's right on the Lord. And so as I started writing the song after that, I started to think about what is it that I'm thankful for. Right. So I started to describe what the Sabbath meant to me, right? On the Sabbath day, we
Yes,
take our rest from a week of toil, pain, and distress, right? We have made it through by his faithfulness. On the Sabbath day, we celebrate our King. So I began to just tell what it meant to me, right? And
yes.
but it really came out of that chorus that just said, man, I'm so grateful. I'm done with this week.
Come on. No, that's so good. I think the Sabbath, it is such an integral part of life, and
It's beautiful,
especially
man.
today, like a lot of us are in the grind and just going and going and going, and I think
Yep.
anxiety and depression is one of the biggest things that's affecting people today, and I think it's also because we haven't been practicing enough of the Sabbath. And it is,
Good.
I've heard people from different background talking about the significance of rest.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we fail to say exactly where it's coming from. It's actually something
Mm-hmm.
that the Lord has commanded us to do, and
100%.
it is needed. Like if we don't do it, we are gonna eventually fall apart. So I
Correct.
love
That's
that
correct.
you've actually written a song about that, and I think it's a
Yeah.
powerful one.
No, I appreciate it, man. Spread the word. My hope is for it to also be a tool to introduce people to, I believe,
Yes,
what we know to be true, right?
yes,
I think a lot of people think just attendance means rest of
yes,
attendance to a service, but it's more than that, right? It's also a mindset,
yes,
recentering our focus and our attention on the one who matters the most. Right? Really, I think intentionally recognizing that God has given to us this period of time when he wants our full attention. And it's not just for him, but it's also for those around us. So I spend a lot of
yeah,
time with my family. We do attend church and we do celebrate, but we also spend quality time together because during the week, Kids are at school, wife is at work, I'm at work. We come home and we do family devotion, but on the Sabbath we get to commune together. So it's and with our friends too, right? So it's really about trying to encourage people to consider that here is an opportunity that the Lord has literally instilled for you to be able to take a break from a week of toil, pain, and distress,
So good.
recenter your attention, and really focus on growing your relationship with Him and with those around you. So,
So good. I'm just gonna pause for a bit quickly. Your 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 sound, it's a little crackly. I don't know if it's because you're using a wireless headphone.
oh, okay.
You wouldn't happen to have a plug-in like
Plug
earpods
in.
or
I don't have ear pods.
sorry, or earbuds that you could just plug directly into your phone?
Don't have any that plug directly in. No, I don't think I do.
I just don't want I want to make sure the audio is cleaning up. Like there are parts of when you're
Understand.
talking that it's a bit broken, so just want to
Okay,
make sure the audio is clean once we're done.
I got you. I hmm, yeah, I don't have another set with me
Or
here,
or
but
we
I
could
could put.
continue with what you have
Okay,
if there's nothing else.
okay. Yeah, I don't have another one that's gonna work better. I have one, but it doesn't plug into this phone
No
because it
problem. It's
uses.
okay. You
Yeah,
got the old one.
yeah.
No problem. We'll work with this. Um Talk to me about being a dad. So you have, is it two or three kids?
Three now.
Come
Yeah,
on,
three.
that's
Yeah,
your quiver is filling up, man.
yeah. It's full. It's full. It's no more,
Nah.
buddy.
That's a good thing.
It's no more.
How do you juggle life between just your different roles and responsibilities as a dad, as a worship leader, and just as a husband? I
Right.
find a lot of men today we're struggling with creating that balance between family, work, and the different roles. How do you keep things afloat and kind of just weave things together?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think for me, one of the greatest strengths to being a father is that I have a very good wife. My wife is exceptional, and we complement each other. So what happens is it helps be a better father because I know I'm not being a father alone, meaning my wife is there and she's helping in the areas that she helps with as mother. And so it helped me also to find that balance, take
Yeah,
the time to not feel as guilty per se if let's say I'm not always able to do everything the things that I can do I'm able to do for our children.
that's good.
So it's just really being intentional, man. For me, I try to be intentional about showing up for the things that matter, recognizing that we don't know when our last moment on earth will be,
Yeah,
right? And like with my father, who one day just woke up and that was the last day, 9 years ago, my intentionality grew out of that experience to say, hey, I want to be present, right?
yeah.
The kids, a basketball game, I'm gonna go to that game.
Come on.
If I have to work later that day, to catch up, then I'll work later. Or if I have to cancel a gig or plan around a gig, I want to be there. So it's very important that I'm present as a father for me, because I do want the legacy I want to leave is a legacy that says, hey, not that my father worked hard only,
Yeah,
but that he also cared, that he was there. So that's a big deal for me when it comes to fatherhood and having a spouse that really helps complement on the other areas where we really, it's not her versus me, it's us.
that's right.
So like she'll pick up or I'll pick up or drop off and we just figure it out. Just as long as we get that time individually with the kids and together, then that's really what matters the most.
I like it. It's a team effort, eh?
Team effort, yeah, team effort, man.
Nice. Early on, you talked a little bit about maybe some reservation as you stepped out as a worship leader and kind of just leading out in a solo version of yourself. How would you encourage others who are maybe anxious or fearful in stepping out in a calling or something that the Lord has placed on their life, whether it's worship leading or otherwise, even people who are in the church and God is calling them to
Hmm.
other things? How do you encourage somebody who is in that space and they're trying to do it but afraid, because you've never done it before? What are some steps they could take to kind of maybe take the first step? How would you encourage somebody to do that?
Right. Yeah, that's good questions, man. So the thing for me is, I'm speaking of this now looking back, right? Because this is me having written material for 18 years and 15 to 18 years and not released them, right?
Yeah,
I'm looking back and I'm saying, hey, the word of the Lord tells us God has not given us a spirit of fear,
that's right.
but of power, love, and a sound mind. And the reality is, I was living in fear. And what I would say to the person who the Lord has given you something is, what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
Just ask yourself the question,
yeah,
what do you have to lose? You have more to gain by being obedient than what you have to lose by not being obedient, right? And so for me, that's what I would say, because I'm doing it now from a bold place. They're sitting on it 15 to 18 years. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I got a wake up call and said, hey, I just crossed into 40. Bro, like, what am I afraid of?
come on,
It's like I
come
just,
on.
you know what I mean? I just hit 40. I'm like, man, I had 15 years when I could have been just doing what the Lord said do. But at this point, it's like, I got to get it off my phone, because if I passed away and all it was a voice note on my phone, then I would have wasted what the Lord had given me in that season. So
That's
I
right.
wanted to just move forward.
And I think even in that, in stepping out in faith, is that interestingly, your action to step out in faith is inspiring somebody else who is observing
That's
you
correct.
and looking at you, and they're like, whoa, if Theo can do this, like, it inspires them to do something else that's been on their heart. And so
Right.
there's this layered movement to it, where your obedience and your faithfulness to step out triggers a ripple effect to kind of push others forward. So I really like that.
Yeah, no, that's my hope. That's what it does.
You have an album coming out soon. Am I correct
Hmm.
about that? Tell
That's
us
correct. Yeah, tomorrow.
tell us a little about that. That's coming out tomorrow. Tell me a little about the
Tomorrow.
album, the name, and maybe like where people can find it and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so my debut album, Altars and Answers, it comes out tomorrow, the 26th of September, everywhere. It's going to be available everywhere. But if people want to check it out, they can visit my theomilfordmusic.com,
Yes.
Theo milfordmusic.com. And they can also check me out on YouTube by my name, Theo Milford, and all the music will be there as well. But it's just a compilation of songs that I wrote over the last, again, 15 to 18 years, 12 records. Five of them I've already put out. The remainder are new records on the album.
Yeah.
And the focus is really on songs that raise an altar to the Lord,
Come on.
and songs that speak from the perspective of Him responding through His word. So that's really the objective. Is I'm hoping that it brings hope and healing to the broken, and strength to those who are lost. You know.
I like that. Building an altar to the Lord, that's pretty good. Let me ask you this question, and I might segue a little bit into some things related to leadership strategies. What's keep you grounded as a leader, and how can you encourage others in that sphere wherever they're leading?
So for me, what's kept me grounded is really truly my relationship with the Lord, and having confidence in who He is for me, right? Um, I know that when I'm weak, He is strong.
That's right.
Me, it's like I'm not just saying live. And honestly, in many rooms that I attend, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the most gifted, I'm not the most anointed, but what I am. And so, functioning from that place, I think, allows me to just rest in the fact that what I have is good enough to usher in Him. And therefore, as long as that's where I'm coming from, then I don't have to worry about
Yeah.
what anybody else says about it. And what He says is what matters, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from, specifically as it relates to leadership and my approach. It's really from a place of service as well. I like to bring the team along, bring everybody along, create community, and share, so that it's not just about me, it's us.
That's
It's
right.
big for me.
What do you have to say about community as it relates to helping you to get to where you are? What role has community played for you? And especially as a man, uh, if there are guys who are feeling stuck in different areas of their lives, um,
Mhm.
what role would you say community could play or has played for you
that could kind of empower them to shift into what is there for their future?
Yeah. So, for me, I have a very small community, but that community is extremely important, right? So for me, it's less about big, but more about impactful. And so from my perspective, what I would say is, surround yourself with some people that pour into you, but people that you can also pour into.
Yeah,
So you become like like water is flowing in and water is out. But also, I think it's very helpful to ensure that your community is also of the similar mindset, so that essentially when you're in need of support or asking questions, that the answers are going to come from a place
yeah,
that
yeah,
you can trust, right? And so for me, my brother is my number one in terms of male friends, and then I have some of my boys close to me, and then certainly my wife is I would say she's my number one, but as it relates to male friends,
yeah.
my brother and
Come
some
on.
other friends of mine that I can cry out to when I have questions, concerns, need to bounce stuff off. Very important. But then in the music space of things, I think it's also discernment, because not everybody's here to help you.
Yeah,
Some people are just here to pull from you. If you're an artist or a musician or a singer, and you need to ask and pray for discernment to know who is there with your best interest at heart, and who are the people that are literally just there because they see something in you that they could benefit off of.
yeah.
That's the key. You got to be very careful with that. That you're not pulled in the wrong direction by the wrong people that don't really have your best interest at heart.
You touched on a word, discernment. What does that mean, and how for somebody who is not familiar with being more discerning, how can they develop that skill or ability?
Right. I mean, I think part of it is innate. It's kind of like common sense, right? But the second part is, again, understanding and recognizing where your help comes from. So for
Yeah,
me, my help comes from the Lord, and I believe that fully. So it's every decision is made through prayer. Me, I'm going before the Lord before I do certain things, and I'm just asking for His guidance. Even if I don't know the answer that I'm
yeah.
expecting, I'm just asking Him, "Hey, I just want you to lead me in this moment." So what I sense a lot of times is when I'm taking that approach, it may not be an audible response, but I will feel confidence that the ultimate outcome was what he wanted because I know I surrendered it to him. The discernment for me is just an act of surrender to the Lord's leading in my actions or my desires. That's for me what it means. For other people, they might have somebody else that they want to communicate with, but for me, it starts with the Lord.
So good. Are there any good books you're reading, Theo, that you would encourage our listeners to check out or maybe take a read at?
Lately, to be honest with you, I'm going through the Word, man. I've just been stuck in the Word.
Come on.
I've been going through from cover to cover. Years ago, I did as the only primary book outside of parenting books that I'm reading right now. It's reading books on parenting because our kids are growing
Come
up, and
on.
I'm like,
Gotta
no, man.
equip yourself with the
Yeah,
tools, man.
yeah. But spiritually, I've been just every moment I can either studying the Word or listening to some studies that are kind of informing my mind in this season. I'll get back into some more reading. Years ago, I've read other books, specifically on worship and stuff like that.
Nice.
I know Ron Canoli wrote one that was very helpful, years ago that I read. But, in this season, I'm just focused on the word, man. That's where I've been.
Come on. That's a good book to stick with in the Bible.
Yeah, man.
Uh, as we are wrapping up, what's your favorite song on the album? And again, if there's anything else you'd want to say about the release that's coming out tomorrow.
My favorite song. There's quite a few on there, but there's a song on the album called Rest, and that one is written from Psalm 62.
Yeah.
It's a song written to remind us. David said, I'll rest in you, God. Oh, my soul longs for you. You alone are my. Just a reminder that all of our strength comes from the Lord. And no
Yes.
matter what season we're going in or going through, and in his story, he's been through some seasons in Psalms, and he's essentially still saying, hey, you know what? No matter what season I've been through, I can find rest in the Lord. And so that song is the one I think will bring calm, a sense of you know, rest, I would say, in knowing that God's got it under control. And regarding the album, my hope is people can comment. I read every comment. I respond to every
Come
comment.
on.
If they're on my YouTube channel, again, that's Theo Milford. Just check it out. A lot of music there as well. Praise and worship stuff. Leave a comment if it's a blessing to you. Even if you have a criticism, leave it there because I read
Yeah,
it. I believe, free speech. I 100% believe in it.
that's right.
And
That's right.
I respond, I respond. So objectively, yeah, I just want I let people be blessed. That's my hope. And share it with the world, that the world can also receive the message of hope and healing.
So good. Theo, I love what I'm hearing. The album is coming out. Love how you're occupying the space as a worship leader and just influencing the world of music. It was a pleasure having you here on The Climb. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey man, appreciate it, Tico, man. Well done, man. Appreciate you having me here. Thank you.